Tarun, Ritesh is like he's mentioned around the whole cost focus, and the unit economics improvement. My sort of two questions, and I'll sort of come back to you is, one, across your portfolio businesses and, in general across sort of subsectors, are you seeing that focus on unit economics come back, and is it, here to stay versus, more for cash preservation? And the second thing is, if we move to fundraising a little bit and, talk about that, where do you see the whole deal activity will start picking up again? Will it be at the early stage and sort of the late stage P lining up the, leaders? When will the growth and the sort of, growth stage sort of start picking up? How will the deal activity pick up once again? And which of those sub segments would start up faster than the other?
Yeah. So I think there's two separate questions. So let me answer the first one first. So one is just in terms of unit economic sort of focus across portfolio. So I distinctly divide basically what's happened in most portfolio companies, or at least the way we've guided our portfolio companies in the last 2.5 months, into three distinct phases. Right? I think phase one was literally putting every company in a 2x2 matrix and saying, are you positively impacted by COVID? Are you negatively impacted by COVID? And by how much? Right? On that scale, where are you? And on the x-axis, actually saying, okay, from a balance sheet strength, do you have, literally less than 6 months runway, or do you have more than 3 years of runway or 2 years of runway, right? And actually plotting that and saying, if you're in that sort of privileged state of highly positively impacted by COVID, like I said, EdTech, gaming, SaaS, bunch of businesses, and you have cash on your balance sheet, there is no better time for it, right? And so you need to really, the set of actions you will take is very different from a company where you are negatively impacted by COVID and you have less runway, or you're negatively impacted by COVID and your runway is even if you have 2 years runway, but the set of actions that you're taking is very, very different, right? So that's number one. Ironically, given that a lot of sort of B2C businesses are contribution negative, it's ironic that their burn levels actually dropped drastically when COVID happened, because there was no business, right? So it was only the fixed cost burn that they had to bear. But that aside, I think the most important thing after that was actually working portfolio founder, because every case is different, and saying, hey, what do I need to do here? What's the right sort of set of actions that I need to take? What are the, do I need to cut burn? Do I need to sort of look at my fixed cost structure? Do I need to, cut marketing down to zero? Do I need to go back and look at some of the other sort of, commitments that I've had in terms of lease and rentals and whatever it may be? And literally, look at that with a magnifying glass and look at it, right? Our feedback to our, entrepreneurs was just like, guys, this is not the time that if you can't take your business to contribution positive at this time, you have serious issues, right? And we actually use this, like I said, crisis brings clarity. And I think the days where investors have any patience to fund sort of contribution negative businesses is over. There was a phase, and unfortunately these things always go in cycles, whether we like it or not. 2 years ago, people were willing to discount sort of your contribution and say that it will happen in the future, and they were willing to take that bet. And the only focus was growth, right? And which is why the conversations you had were all around growth. But today, where we stand, I don't think there is any patience, because people are unclear about whether these business models are now viable. And if you have low growth and you have negative margins, you don't have anything that you're betting on, right? So I think there are a lot of businesses which have actually used this opportunity to turn contribution positive much faster than they would have. People have really taken a step back and reevaluated the business model, and literally like a dial on every single lever in the business model have done whatever is required. You don't need to discount. I'm seeing examples where even today consumer companies are giving massive discounts. I'm like, dude, nobody's going to come out on the streets because you're giving a discount. I'm scared for my life right now, right? And so everyone's sitting at home, by giving that extra 20-30% discount, nobody's going to consume it. You would rather use this opportunity to actually get the right customer, give them the right level of service, serve them well, and actually have them pay for it. So we've actually had a lot of companies in our portfolio where either they were making very low contribution or negative contribution. Many of them have actually moved there, right? Which is great. Coming to the second question on investor sentiment, like I said, yeah, it's a little bit of a tale of extremes. I think there are sectors where whether it's staples and groceries, whether it's healthcare products, whether it's sort of online media and digital media, whether it's ed tech, whether it's digital sort of services. A lot of those, like I said, are seeing a lot of interest. Your deals are in the making. We haven't. Most of the deals that have been announced, by the way, so far, are all deals that were baked and sort of signed in most cases pre-COVID, right? And so I don't think that's representative of what's really happening. I think over the next few months is when the deals that are currently being baked and sort of being discussed will come out in the market, and I think the separation will be very clear as to where investor interest is. At least what I am hearing, late stage deals, there is still a lot of interest. There are investors who have actually not spent a lot of time on the Indian market. A lot of those global investors are looking at India very closely. They see India as a big beneficiary. They see digital adoption in India as a big beneficiary coming out of this. And they see those particular sectors as big beneficiaries. And we are seeing active interest from them in deploying large checks into those companies, right? And like I said earlier, there is a flight towards quality. So I think the top 1 or 2 companies in each of these sectors will see massive uplifts in amount of capital that they can attract and in valuations. Early stage activity has been muted. I don't think investors are willing to take risk. I don't think investors are, they want the dust to settle before they start doing seed and series A rounds again. Now, I'm not saying it's down to 0, but if it was on a scale of 10, it's probably at 3 or 4 right now, early stage investing, right? But like I said, mid and growth, there still seems to be a lot of activity. I think in even within that, what we're seeing is people who are moving atoms are seeing less deal activity than people who are moving bytes, right? And the reason for that is there are just logistical challenges. Like, think about a guy sitting in the US or in China or in Hong Kong. Their ability to fly down and diligence your warehouse operations, their ability to fly down and do sort of channel checks, their ability to fly down and actually meet the team and speak to customers. I mean, it's just physically not possible. But our seed and series A rounds happening in sort of top of the stack sort of companies that don't have a large operational or physical sort of play to it. Absolutely, we're seeing some of that happen, and it's continuing to increase. In fact, in like sectors like SaaS and some of the